quick league with Dredge. Last time I played this was in the Atlanta BTQ, so a few weeks ago. Hopefully there's a tiny bit less graveyard hate in the format, but we'll see how this goes. Deck is very explosive when it all comes together. Still looking for that Liverpool deck. Could this be the one? This sounds good, right? Reunion on 2. Not much more you can ask for. Reunion on 2, pitch these. Forests. So we're against spirits? Oh, we're against elves? Or maybe like some sort of green-white company garbage? Something like that. Like I've seen green-white company garbage lists that play the extra mana dork. Elves is no joke. Elves is terrifying. My teammates are on spirits and hardened scales. Alright. This is gonna be interesting. I've not played against elves with Dredge before. Get our Blood Crypt. I guess I want to thin a mountain out of my deck. 1 life could matter, but getting a card out of my deck also matters. Faster and less interactive than Dredge, indeed. I really like elves. I wish I could play it, but obviously Collected Company is taken on my team. I actually think elves is a super legitimate deck and really underrated. Ooh, Darkblast is the tiniest bit late to this party. Arg. Didn't hit a Narcomoeba for this Amalgam. That's fine. We've got this Darkblast next turn if they don't have another Lord. Probably have another Lord. We didn't hit a Conflagrate, sadly. Conflagrate would have been A+. Oh wow, no Lord pre-combat. That's so good for us. Yeah, I can Dredge, Blast, Dredge. Or Blast, Dredge, Blast. Yep, you're correct. Why have they not Coco'd yet? Oh, because they want us to commit to the Darkblast. I think I'm just meant to Dredge 4 and not cast the Darkblast yet, and just hold it up so I can kill the Clan Caller when they go to Coco. Like, I suspect that is the case. Sure, let's do that. Let's Dredge 4 here. Hey Alex. So we can hold up the Darkblast of this Clan Caller. Return some Bloodghasts and an Amalgam. We don't have a Conflagrate yet, which is unfortunate. Do I want to Loam to build up for a big Conflagrate next turn? Or do I want to play a Thug? Guess I want to Loam. Return these. Bloodghast ability. So we can return some lands. We're gonna have to discard one of them potentially. Yeah, we're gonna have to discard one of them, but that means we can put the Stinkweed Imp in the yard, so it's not the end of the world. So my teammates are playing Hardened Scales and Bant Spirits. So my options are like Dredge, Black, Green, X. Dredge, Black, Green, X. Grixis Death Shadow. We tried Titan Shift yesterday and it was kind of fine. So that's also an option. Yeah, I can't have Broken Artifact Stuff, Vile, Coco, Path to Exile, Noble Hierarch, or the white sideboard cards. That is correct. Assuming we're dead. They get to overrun with their Azuri. Yeah, we're just dead. They overrun. God, Elves is so good. Elves is so underrated. We do look pretty dead. That we do. Well, our deck certainly didn't feel that impressive that game. It was too super considerate. I mean, you get 2 good decks on each team, right? And then 1 rubbish deck. And that's how things work. It's just like how every team's lineup's gonna end up. Shame most Slaring's decks are Moxopor decks. Indeed. Okay, so you can straight swap these for the Axes and the Darkblast. Can probably cut 1 Dredger because we're bringing in the Darkblast. 2. I don't know whether it's meant to be a Thug or a Loam. Thug dredges some more. Loam is obviously good with the Conflagrate, with the Rushbro bringing in an extra copy of those. So I think we can get a Thug instead. It's just like really easy ins and outs. I can't Tron. Ancient Stirrings is gone. Alex, Ancient Stirrings goes in scales. Yeah, Scales plays Stirrings. It's part of the reason the deck's so good. It gets to board in loads of hateful, colourless sideboard cards like Damping Sphere and then search for them. That's a Conflagrate. Oh, it's probably meant to bring in some claims, maybe? I'm not really sure what sort of hate to expect from them, though. I think this hand's fine. We can just like cast Conflagrate on 1, and then that sits in our graveyard threateningly. Or we can like reunion the Conflagrate into the yard on 2, and then wipe their board on our 3rd turn. Yeah, black-green has better mana, it has Field of Ruin. It takes less damage off its mana base, which makes its Dark Confidence better. Those are like the big advantages. Okay then. I mean, on a positive note, I don't think the Nature's Claims would do enough here because I'd have to kill 2 of them. So there's that. I don't really entirely know how I win this. They do only have 4 cards left in hand. Apparently one of them's a redundant Heritage Druid, so that's kind of something. Alright, dump these. Strong magic card. I guess we're just building towards like Conflagrating, getting a 2-for-1 with this Conflagrate at some point. I agree, Alex. We're going to be casting a lot of Conflagrates for 2. Does seem that way. Aha. That's not a very beatable magic card either. I am relieved to know, like, even if we had Nature's Claims in our deck, we probably wouldn't be able to deal with this because they have 2 of the Leylines, not just 1. So it makes me feel a bit less foolish. Obviously, this is still not ideal. Right, let's draw another Conflagrate to start firing these off every turn. We are quite lucky here, this is true. We do that a lot. Alright. They're going to draw lands for the rest of the game. We're going to draw a Prized Amalgam to block with. And then another Conflagrate. And it's going to be great. Or they can draw an Elvish Archdruid. Also they could do that. Oh. Uh-huh. Alright, this is not the most encouraging start in the world. Dear Lord. Alright, onwards and upwards. Let's not face Leylines again. You've decided we shouldn't play Dredge in Liverpool. That is a hasty decision. Well, do you know what your team's playing, Alex? Have you decided yet? Or how close are you to deciding? Hey there, Magister. Good to see you. No, obviously Dredge did well in the team open the other weekend, but it's certainly been stumbling a bit too. I feel like we played this opponent yesterday. I can't remember what they were playing though. That makes sense, Alex. Are you just going to be there for the side events? I hope so, because then I get to see you. But oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! We found a serum powder deck. Jeez. Also, this is bad news because post-board they're gonna have serum powders with Leylines, which is terrifying. So that's the thing. I would absolutely sign a Night's Awesome for you. Also, we should do a cube draft on Sunday evening, Alex. That would be great. Hey, Tanner. Serum powder for Smuggler's Copter. The dream. The actual dream. No, don't say that, Alex. That's so boring. I kind of want a black source. So these Stinkweed Imps. I reckon the Stinkweed Imps are actually going to be decent against my opponent. If they're on some sort of Eldrazi nonsense. Good morning, Tanner. That is a Matter Reshaper. Resolves. Alright, upkeep. Mill myself. This is going perfectly. I guess I meant to play this Golgari Thug. Problem is, if the Golgari Thug blocks, it just gets put on top of the library. But so I think I'm returning both of these to play, so But at least once we've milled another creature, the Thug can be annoying. Especially if we mill a Narcomoeba and then like block with it to buy time. TKS. Sure. They can only take one of our imps. The other imp's going to be really obnoxious. They should 100% attack there, because when the Thug dies, it's... Oh no, then we get to mill it with the Shriekhorn. They should not attack there. Our opponent is smart. Opponent confirmed smart. Ooh, this is nice. Got ourselves a Stinky. Domu. Alright. We doing stuff. I can either cast a Stinky, or I can Faithless Looting, or I can Conflagrate the Fortnot and use that to dredge a Thug, or an Imp even. Kind of like Conflagrating the Fortnot to dredge the Thug. That sounds kind of nice, right? Or dredge a Stinky even. Now we can return the other two Bloodghasts. I guess I was meant to attack first, huh? That was really bad. Now they can trade with the Amalgam, which shouldn't be able to happen. Yeah, I have regrets. So I guess I'm just attacking with this now. Because otherwise I can't return the Amalgam. That was really loose. I don't think it's gonna matter. We're like miles ahead, but obviously not my best movement. They're missing land drops. They're like pretty inclined to block, which is sad. We might just be letting them dig to our land here. But we also get a blocker out the way, so maybe that's fine. Ghost Quarter, so they can take us off green or black mana if they want. TKS deal. So I can go get my green source and then start casting Stinkies. Or looting. I think I'd rather looting. Get back Stinky, chill you. Yeah, looting has to be pretty good. We've already got like a bunch of creatures in play, is the thing. But this seems decent. Dredge the Thug. Dredge a Loam. Discard Stinky Thug. Put you to 11. They can block here, and even then they take 8. Hey, Caius. Good to see you. Well, that game was not very competitive. Opponent's deck also does not seem like the finest modern deck in the world. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. Enjoying murdering some Eldrazi. I definitely want this stuff. I'm kind of curious what these lightning axes. I assume they're good. They kill like Thoughtseers and such. Kill all the tentacles. Indeed. Glorious tentacular death. Yeah, that makes sense, Alex. That makes sense. So we can probably cut like 1 threat and 1 chill. Ancient Grudge for serum powder. Oh my god. Honestly, a single Ancient Grudge might still be good if they have like Relic of Progenitus. I'm mainly boarding against Leyline here, but I could see the Grudge being decent. Hey, Lazy Warlock. Good to see you. Punish all these colorless non-land permanents with a Crater Maker. Oh my lord. So I kind of want to cut 1 copy of 1 threat. So I think the Narcomoebas are a touch worse than the Bloodghasts here, because the Bloodghasts let us repeatedly attack into their team and return everything. And then we can cut another chill and call this it. I don't know what happened to Bridgemine. I assumed people realized it was bad, but obviously it top 8'd a GP like 2 weeks ago, out of nowhere. No, it's possible Bridgemine is actually just good. I know it had a really good result in a GP like 4 weeks ago, where it was just like dominating the top 32, even, which was really surprising. So it was like one of the Asian GPs. I can't remember which one, but the APAC GPs. This hand is nice. Alright, we have a claim for a Leyline. So obviously mulling really low to find, and then we have a Loam to get going. On their 3-card hand, they finally find a serum powder. I'm going to keep this on top. It feels like the only way we lose is if they have multiple pieces of graveyard hate. So it can't be that bad. They scry to the top. So lucky. That's Blood Crypt. Next turn we're just going to Loam to get this engine started. Incredibly slowly, but that's fine because their hand sucks. Where's Crater Maker when you need him? Oh my god. Get rid of this pesky Matter Reshaper. Brr, getting cold. Getting chilly, in fact. Their hand sucks or their deck sucks? Good question. I really don't want to Conflagrate these. I guess we're just going to take a bit more damage off them. I might just have to Conflagrate one or both of them, letting them like cantrip into other cards. And then like get out a bigger Eldrazi is a way we could potentially lose though. Alright, that's a lot of reshaping going on over there. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. I guess I could have dumped this in the yard and then I'd get to Loam into Conflagrate this turn. I think at this point I now just have to shoot down some of that nonsense. I think I'll shoot 2 of them. Because then I can keep the Loam. I can keep a land drop for this turn. And an answer to a hate card. It gets me dangerously low. It's kind of concerning, but if I actually lose to their Malta Free where they've had 0 hate cards, I'm going to be very tilted, by the way. I will not be a happy autumn. I don't want to keep the trophy because it could kill something big over the claim. Sure. New to Vault. No. That's pressure. I feel really dead if they have like a Smasher or a Thoughtseize. Which is really embarrassing considering they've just like done nothing all game long. But I guess our start was just too slow. With just like starting with Loams is really glacial. But I felt like we had to keep the hand because it had answers to hate cards. We have a Conflagrate, thank God. Conflagrate is a great pickup here. Hey there, Gabroff. We keep the Loams in hand, since we already have 2 in the yard anyway. So we get a blocker in the form of the Narcomoeba that can jump in front of the Fortnot. We have a Conflagrate to kill the Fortnot next turn and get dredging again. So if they don't draw a Reality Smasher, we're kind of in this. Oh, that's such a good hit. That's such an absurd hit. Narcomoeba is perfect. Jeez. So we get to go Loam back Freelands. Conflagrate your Thoughtseize. The goof levels in this game are quite high. You're not wrong. Next time we get to start making Stinkweed Imps every turn. You don't understand how I take extra turns with this deck. I'm not really sure either. Need to have a think about that one. Obviously haven't built the deck correctly. Oh my god, another Narcomoeba. We can actually win this game. Jeez. Do I hold this back to block? I think I do. I just feel like I'm gonna take over now if they don't draw like a relic. I just want to be able to like make sure I don't randomly die. Alright, would I rather get this off the board permanently but let them have a redraw to a relic? Or just chump? I feel like this has to be killed at some point. Seems fine. They're probably mainly on Leylines as their Grave Hate, considering they're a Chalice of the Void deck. And a Serum Powder deck. So this doesn't seem too risky. Spatial Contortion, deal. Play the Mutavault. So now they know everything they have. Alright. So we've used up both our Conflagrates, so that's relevant to know. I definitely want to return some lands to hand because I've got Bloodghasts in my yard. And then I can go looting. Or I could cast an imp instead. Looting's good. We don't have that many recursive creatures to find, but by this point, but looting's still decent. We have like 2 Bloodghasts and 2 Amalgams left. I think we also have 1 Creeping Chill left, which would be kind of nice right about now. Dredge a Loam. Dredge a Loam. Discard. Honestly, maybe just the Loams. I'm pretty happy just casting Stinkweed Imps. Like 2 Stinkweed Imps per turn from now on. Even if it means I'm dredging less. Alright. Swingsies. I do more of these Mutavaults. So I might actually swing with nothing. Make sure I have 3 blockers back because they have a Spatial Contortion in hand. We still... Do we die to Reality Smasher? We don't. Actually, we do. No, they put us to 1 with Reality Smasher. They put us to 1. Okay. Dredge the Stinky. Okay. So I can swing with the Bloodghasts and the Amalgams and leave back the Narcomoebas on blocks. So 6, 9, 12. We just like want to make sure that we have enough blockers that they can't like kill our blockers to get lethal through here. Sick. Alright, we successfully beat the mulligan to 3. Our draw was really clunky and slow because of all our anti-hate cards, but ended up working out. Did I try to lose that game? What did I do wrong? I can't actually remember, Caius. I'm convinced I did try and lose that game, if you're saying it. I drew terribly. That's fair, that's fair. I did try my hardest to throw it away. This seems too slow on the draw in the dark in a pre-board game. I'm just gonna mulligan this. This is way better. I'm not locked into Jund. I think Jund is honestly probably the thing I'm most likely to play at the moment. But I'm trying out various different things. Also, hey Crania, good to see you. Do I want this Amalgam? I don't think I do. I think I just want to try and draw a second looting effect or reunion style effect off my first looting. Or like more dredges so I can keep the engine going. I've already got an Amalgam to discard to this looting anyway, so it's not like that really does much for me. Hardened Scales. This is exciting. They're playing Baubles and Scales. Alright, let us find a mountain, fire off this Luton. Honestly, I wonder if I'm meant to just grab Blood Crypt. I might want to start imping at some point. No, this seems fine. Ooh, this is a nice one. Discard the Imp. I think we discard the Amalgam. Chance we want to cast Conflagrate next turn is like medium, I guess. If they play a Steel Overseer, I'm pretty interested in casting a mini Conflagrate. But I think having the Amalgam in the yard is just better. Yeah, like if they cast a Steel Overseer next turn, I would want to Conflagrate it, but not getting to Conflagrate it isn't the end of the world. Whereas getting to return the Amalgam would be really nice, I think. Alright, so we have this in hand now. Jason, thank you for the raid. Welcome to everyone joining us. Playing some Modern. Playing this Dredge deck to see if I want to play it at the GP. So let's just return this Bloodghast. And this Amalgam. I'm gonna do this for 0 just to get it in the yard. I guess that lets our opponent know about it. We can like hide the information that we have this Conflagrate. It only costs us a mana to dump it in the yard later. So like if we were to do it next turn, it doesn't actually change things at all. I guess it costs us 2 life if we mill out of a mountain. Yeah, whatever. I don't think this actually changes their plays that much. And like if we mill out of a mountain, casting the Conflagrate before flashing it back costs us 2 life, which is actually pretty significant. Hey Simon! Good to see you. Alright, Ballista is terrifying. Ballista makes these Stinkweed Imps not look like very effective threats. I guess I'm probably just going to have to fire off this Conflagrate now, just to get the Ballista off board, and the Overseer. Non-mill decks. What are non-mill decks? Why are non-mill decks? Down with non-mill decks, etc. Alright, so I can attack with both of these. If they want to block either of them, that's fine with me. If they want to go to 12, that's also great. I'm milling the wrong player, exactly. I'm so unprepared for the mill your opponent meta. Alright, they're taking 5. Peace. So, I want to go Conflagrate this for 2 and this for 2. I'm playing versus Fabs. I did not realize that. I didn't know his account name. And leave the servo in play. This is gonna probably kill the Narcomoeba and deal 1 to my face. Yep. So return this Bloodghast. So tough question is whether I fetch a Shockland now to save life and ensure I can get it out of my deck before I end up milling them all. Because I will want a 3rd mana next turn, or I can wait on it to potentially trigger Bloodghasts that I flip over. There's only 2 Bloodghasts left in the deck. I think I want to wait though. The chance that I mill the mountain off the Stinkweed Imp is pretty unlikely. And the upside of getting to return a Bloodghast is really nice here. So I think I'm just going to wait on this. There's like a fair amount of upside to that. And the downside is we maybe cost ourselves 2 life when we're already on 19. Yeah, there was Dredge everywhere like a week or 2 ago. I think people are just fed up of playing against hate though. Oh, this also means we can jam with our Bloodghasts really happily, having the fetch and play like this. I think I just want to do the Stinkweed Imp and like max Dredge here. Post-combat. Doing it pre-combat doesn't affect things because I can't return any Bloodghasts right about now. Milled the mountain. I did mill the mountain. I was successfully punished. This is so cute. The whole module tricks. Alright, so we get in 2 damage, which is good. Sacrifice this. I think we want to fire off a looting instead of playing the Stinkweed Imp. No Titan Shift, stream confirmed, bad. I mean, Titan Shift did somehow have the highest win rate yesterday. Lord knows how. Hey, Phil. So I think I'm just firing off looting. I think we need to, like, hit some chills and try and get this over next turn. And we have a Narcomoeba to block with on the Nexus. So I don't need to cast the Stinkweed Imp for that purpose. Darkblast is nice. Potentially. Yeah, put Fabs to 4 here. Which is really nice. And we get another blocker. Yeah, we played some Valakut yesterday, Simon. We ended up going 3 and 2 with it. The deck actually felt very reasonable. How does it does not beat the real best deck in Modern, Jason, is the answer. I did lose to Valakut playing Mill, but our list was, like, not as nice as Jason's list. Jason's list is decent. So when we lost, we just lost to, like, our opponent resolved the Tireless Tracker and then blew up our Ensnaring Bridge. Or, like, resolved the Titan and attacked us for 6, like, 3 times after blowing up our Ensnaring Bridge. We just, like, didn't have enough mill cards to kill them. Because our draws were kind of awkward. You sideboard out bridges versus them. Okay, that makes sense. Just, like, try and stay as fast as possible. Since you figure the creatures are never going to hit you anyway. I think, like, one of the games I boarded out bridges and we ended up dying to Tireless Tracker, so I boarded, like, the bridges back in and ended up dying to them blowing up the bridge. It's like, okay. Don't really know how I get around this. Hangerback Walker is scary. Yeah, I could see myself playing Valakut, Simon. I'm a bit worried that I just get bored. No offense to Valakut. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's, like, no need to block, right? I'm pretty sure we're not dead here. I'm sure we'll find out. How did the Storm League end up going yesterday? We didn't win very much, but I wasn't expecting to win very much, where I'm, like, learning the deck. I might do some more with the deck later this week. Just continue learning it. So I think I just want to max mill, try and find my other Conflagrate. Or, like, a Creeping Chill probably kills them too. That makes sense. Just go the herp derp route of milling as many cards as possible. I'm hoping that wins. Yeah, I think we've got 1 chill left in the deck. Oh no, we don't have any, but we do have a Conflagrate in the deck. If we can find that, we can ensure lethal next turn. Alright, so attacking doesn't kill them. Attacking with Bloodghast could at least force some awkward blocks. And then next turn the Conflagrate does kill them, so we just want to leave everything else back. To try and block things and not die. Obviously they get a free block with the Ravager, and they can sack something to the Ravager and replace it with the module. So I guess attacking doesn't actually achieve anything here, but As long as we don't die, they are dead to the Conflagrate next turn, which is nice. Yeah, the ghasts can't block, right? It makes no difference what we do here. Exactly. We just have to hope we don't die. We're dead to Ballista. I believe we're probably dead to Hardened Scales, because you're always dead to Hardened Scales. Those are the only things that seem to kill me. So they're gonna make a, they're gonna get a counter, replace a token. So the Ravager's are gonna be on 4. Then they get to take up the Hanger back, make a token, animate the Ink Moth, attack with like Ink Moth, Servo, Ravager. They can go sack a Servo to go up to 5, replace it with the module. 6 off the other unblocked creature, 7 off Darksteel, 8 off module, 9 off Hangerback, 10, 11 off the tokens. So they can do like 11 to 12 damage. Somewhere around there without drawing anything. But I think they just need Hardened Scales or Ballista to actually kill us here. Ooh, making another Thopter. That means they have 3 flying attackers. Does that mean we die? That might mean we're dead. That's interesting. Although the normal damage ones don't get us. It's only the infect that gets us. So they still just need Hardened Scales here to make anything lethal. Ravager Math. Ravager Math is a nightmare. Especially once you start involving nonsense like this. I must admit, I am happy I'm not the one on our team playing Hardened Scales. It's way too much number crunching for me. Alright, whilst this happens, I'm going to check what Grave Hate the Scales decks are playing. I think they play Tormod's Crypts, right? I'm pretty sure Tormod's Crypt is the usual. Let's take a look. Hardened Scales. They play Tormod's Crypt and Cage. Which is actually really convenient for us. Because that means all the Nature's Claim stuff we're boarding in hits their hate cards, but also their proactive cards. Which is really helpful. So we want Nature's Claim, Trophy, Conflagrate and Grudge, and Darkblast 100%. And then I'm assuming we want the Lightning Axes. Leyline is very good against a Ravager and Hangerback, but I think that might be over sideboarding. Like 14 cards seems like way too many to fit in. Alright, Darkblast can definitely replace a Thug. Bring in this Conflagrate and this Grudge and these. Just like bring in all of this stuff, I guess. I'm like kind of medium on the trophy. It's a bit expensive. Maybe we could afford not to bring that one in. Can cut on chills. Because they're often going to be overkilling us. Or like maybe infecting us. They're easy things to cut. Darkblast means we can cut an enabler. You thought I was going to be playing Mill. I might play Mill later this week. I don't know. Jason has been crushing with that deck. So it's kind of tempting. So I think Narcomoeba is better than Bloodghast. Because the matchup's not like super grindy. And the Narcomoebas can block the Ink Moths. So we can cut one Bloodghast on that basis. I think I'd probably want these Lightning Axes, especially on the draw. We can like Lightning Axe a 2-drop. So just replace the Shriekhorns with those. Now I need to cut one more card. Might just be another chill. I'm wondering if I want any of the chills in this matchup. Because cutting another one would make room for a trophy, which also just seems fine. Just turn into like a weird control deck post board with lots of removal. I actually don't hate that. Something like this. Obviously Leyline's good against them. I think if we bring in the Leylines, we'll be massively overboarding. It already feels like we're like close to overboarding. What are we playing against? We're playing against Hardened Scales. Alright, this doesn't have an answer to a hate card. There's a Cathartic Reunion, which helps dig for one though. It has good mana. I assume I meant to keep this. With the Reunion, we're pretty good at digging towards the an answer for a hate card. We only have 5 answers in the deck currently. And like, everything about this hand is quite good. Obviously, only having a Dredge free isn't that explosive, but I think I'm going to keep this. I think this is like maybe a bit borderline just because this being a Dredge free makes this hand like not super explosive, but we can just draw the best possible card and then we feel really smart. You think Zen would mull this hand? I could completely understand that. But we drew Faithless Looting because we're incredibly lucky, so I think I can discard the Amalgam. So I got the Reunion to rediscard the Loams. Oh, that kind of makes sense, Shotscape. Look, the Conflagrates can be a bit awkward against those cards. Okay. Let's get Dredge free. Mill to Bloodghast, which is nice. So I can fetch a mountain, fire off the Reunion. Could also just Conflagrate these. It's not a super exciting Conflagrate though, and firing off the Reunion just gets our engines so much more online. I know, it's interesting. Like, Conflagrating would just leave them with a 1/1 Thopter. So we'd like miss out on the Dredge 6 plus whatever comes afterwards, but make their boards so much less intimidating. Yeah, I kind of like controlling their board. I think I'm going to do that. These aren't like exciting creatures to kill, but I think it slows down the opponent by quite a bit. Like, makes it Hardened Scales a lot less scary. Makes it a lot harder for them to, like, block our creatures well. Oh, we probably meant to keep a Loam in hand, huh? Because we got the Reunion to rediscard it. And then we're less weak to a Blood Crypt. Discarding both Loams was probably pretty bad. Right. So the big aim for this turn is to try and find a Darkblast for the Steel Overseer. Stinkweed Imp, Loam, okay, no Darkblast. We hit a whole bunch of Amalgams, which is really nice. It's like mono Amalgams over here. So we've got a really good clock going. Oh, and we hit an Ancient Grudge, so we can kill the Overseer. Do we want to kill the Overseer, or do we want to save the Grudge to protect us from the Ink Moth? Do we have a Stomping Ground left in the deck? Do we have a second Stomping Ground? We do. That's interesting. I'm kind of I definitely wanted to use Grudge this turn, rather than just getting this down tapped. If I kill the Overseer, it just, again, just slows down my opponent so much, and my board is so dominating. Yeah, I think I just want to kill the Overseer. Well, I don't know how I die. The third Stomping Ground. This one only has 2. Simon, I believe. Like, I don't know how I die if I protect myself from the Ink Moth. Oh, Weirdo, the 2-month free sub. Thanks for keeping it going. Thanks for the continued support as a Knight of Autumn. It means a lot to me. Everyone get some hearts in chat for El Weirdo. Didn't get your joke. Apparently I didn't. Oh wait, no, I get your joke now. I get your joke now. You're referring to the person who cheated. I get it. You did a funny. It went completely over my head. I am not up on those memes. This seems like a decent board, I'm not gonna lie. We need to find the last Conflagrate to actually kill them next turn, but... Alright, well, easy 2-1. Deck is great. I've successfully faced 0 pieces of hate in the last 2 rounds, which probably helps, but... Probably helps, just a little bit. Alright. I'd be pretty happy registering Dredge for the GP, I think, if it ended up with that. This deck is good. I think currently my shortlist is like Dredge or Black Green X or maybe Titan Shift. I just worry that I wouldn't enjoy playing a whole GP with Titan Shift, but you're playing Dredge at GP Liverpool? I think it's like a pretty decent choice. Depends on how much hate people are packing, obviously, but I feel like it should start toning down a tiny bit by then. Like, Dredge hasn't had that many good finishes ever since the hate ticked up. So, that definitely helps it a lot. Okay. That isn't great, but it's got a looting. I'm kind of hard pressed to mulligan like somewhat functional hands that have Faithless Looting. Yeah, our other decks are Spirits and Scales. That is correct. Looting does forgive all sins. It really does. Spike me. Alright. If you're gonna be like that... So this matchup's meant to be great for us, I'm told. Because of Creeping Chill. Let's see if that pans out. Turn to Eidolon. Yeah, it does seem like that could be on our way. Ooh, Swifty, right on time. Alright, it's gonna go to 11. We need to find ourselves a chill nice and soon. At least the Narcomoeba can block to gain us some life though. So I want to looting before playing my land, because then I can bring back Bloodghasts at the end of it. Stinkweed Imp. Nice. That is a good one. Discard the Imp and the Loam. Alright, so I can either get this down tapped, or I can spend 1 life to fetch a Blood Crypt, which could be relevant for this Creeping Chill. Obviously getting this in tap saves some life, but I'm likely to want to Loam next turn, which is going to take 3 lands, looting next turn, which is going to take 3 lands anyway. So I think I'm just going to go fetch my Blood Crypt. I guess that costs me 2 life, because then I have to go Blood Crypt plus Mountain. I'm just going to put this in tap. I think by the time we're hard casting this, they're just going to die anyway. So saving the life off our shot land seems like the most relevant thing. Obviously, like 100% chump blocking if they don't Searing Blaze me. Alright. Go to 11, go to 9. They only have 2 cards in hand. We have like a very developed board. Aren't they like almost dead? I feel like they're almost just dead. Alright, now they're definitely just dead. We have like 7 on board and a Conflagrate in the yard. Just easy turn 3. Thanks to the Creeping Chills. You'd feel bad for opponent, but they're playing burn. Yeah, that sounds about right. That was nice. Creeping Chill's so messed up in this matchup. Jeez. Alright. Well, so I guess we just want answers to Rest in Peace. And we could bring in Lightning Axes too, because they're enablers that also kill their Goblin Guides. So we like straight swap these Shriekhorns for these Axes, cut a Darkblast because it's our worst Dredger here. Then we need to cut 2 cards to make room for these. I seem quiet. Interesting. Yeah, I can turn up my volume a tiny bit. This is about as high as it will go. I don't know how this sounds to you. Maybe. That's good now. Awesome. Glad to hear it. So we need to cut 2 more cards. So I can probably cut 1 threat. Oh, I probably don't want the trophy. It's just like much worse than Nature's Claim against Rip. Stops us overboarding, and then I can cut either a Narcomoeba or a Bloodghast. I kind of like Narcomoeba because it can block on the turn it comes in. So I think I'm going to cut a Bloodghast instead. But also, like, Narcomoeba makes our draws more explosive, whereas Bloodghast makes them more grindy. So we want to lean towards being explosive. That seems good. Just can't answer a Rip. Has a Reunion, which is pretty nice. Has a Conflagrate to help deal with like a Goblin Guide, though that's obviously pretty slow. Hey there, Sadie. Good to see you. Yeah. I kind of want to keep this hand. I don't know. It doesn't have a looting, obviously. Or a lightning axe. both of which would probably be better than the Reunion here. Yeah, I think this is fine. It's not, like, exciting, but it's fine. If they have a hate card, Reunion helps dig us to an answer too, which is nice. So even though we don't have an answer, this, like, digs us a few cards towards the Nature's Claim. Them on 6 cards, they're, like, obviously, mulliganing less aggressively against decks because they've mulliganed isn't really that much a thing, but against Burn it's like a legit thing because their Goldfish speed is often like very dependent on how many cards they have in hand. So we can get this down tapped and then fetch a Mountain for like minimum damage here. How's the dredging? Currently 2-1. Deck is felt kind of nice. Been pretty happy with it so far. Honestly, it might be leading in terms of like the deck I'm most interested in playing at Liverpool. Which isn't terribly surprising to me, but this is a tough pitch. You're way more confident with these hands on the play since we are protected against Relic and Rip. But also Burn can't really mulligan at all towards hate. Yeah, exactly. Burn just can't mulligan for hate very much. If they have a good 7, they just have to keep and cross their fingers. I own Dredge and paper, or almost all of it. I need a few Creeping Chills and Golgari Thugs, since the last time I played it in paper was when it was fully powered. But I think I just pitched the Loam just to ensure we can consistently dredge as much as possible. I think that's the most important thing to me, especially with Creeping Chills in the deck that we can hit. I just want to ensure like every draw step can be a dredge, rather than like trying to return an extra creature. It's so good though, Alex. Why would people hate you for making good life decisions? The old double Creeping Chill them. So rude. God, Creeping Chill makes this matchup feel laughable. Like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. Jeez. I think I'm actually going to leave a blocker back. I don't know that it matters at all. But they're going to die to Conflagrate next turn regardless. Like, blocking to save damage is kind of a thing. I just don't think any of our decisions actually matter that much, though, if we're being honest. At this point, I don't think they can actually win this. I say before they somehow win this. Just go to a FNM draft, get every Creeping Chill. Yep. That definitely sounds like a plan. Alright. So. Ouch. I take 3. So painful. That's so mean of you, opponent. Why would you do such a thing? Gonna keep this in hand and this in hand. If they wipe our graveyard, then like we can just cast this as a free at some point soon to beat down with. And if that's a reason to get the Black Source in play, they could go like Rip past this, and then suddenly we need to start attacking with these things. Doesn't really matter though. Nothing really matters. We've reached the nihilism portion of the game. It does seem completely ludicrous, Cat. You're not wrong. Jeez. Alright, 3-1, and all 3 wins were incredibly easy 2-0s, where I could have just taken my actions at random and probably won. So that's nice. Exclamation mark, move on with our lives. Yep. Oh, jeez. Conflagrate as a 5-mana shock is good against Eidolon. This is true. That is a way to kill Eidolon without taking damage. I think I own like 2 Creeping Chills, maybe. I'm like halfway there. I might also be missing a couple other cards. So from this list, I think I'm missing 1 Shriekhorn, 2 Golgari Thug, maybe like 1 or 2 Creeping Chill. I think that's it. I think I have the rest from playing Dredge beforehand. I just haven't updated it with like all the post-Grave Troll stuff. Because I kind of hated Dredge in the portion of time between like Grave Troll being banned and Creeping Chill being printed. I just thought the deck wasn't very good. Alright, we will go first. We will keep this hand. You have a personal stake in replacing the Shriekhorns with Green Seeker. I need to read that card. Discard a card, search your library for a basic land card. Jeez. I think Shriekhorn's decent. I was playing Shriekhorn like a couple years ago in Dredge and always thought it was fine. I don't really see the motivation for cutting it. You bought them out a lot, but it's like, whatever. Yeah, it's like what you need for game 1s, and then you board them out a lot in game 2s when you're bringing in other cards instead. Yeah, I was in a mad hunt for Shriekhorns like 2 years ago before a modern event. This is correct. It was a strange time. Apparently we're in that strange time again. Do I want to just dump this Conflagrate to save myself a mana later? But let them know about it? Probably. Probably. Letting them know about it really sucks. If they're on something like Storm. I'm just going to pass. If they're on Storm, I don't want them knowing about this Conflagrate. Yeah, the number of main deck rips is probably almost 0 on paper. The person who won that challenge or got to the finals or whatever with Rip in the main deck of blue-white posted an article saying, I do not believe Rip is good in the main deck of blue-white and I would not do it again. They only did it for that one event and then they decided they didn't like it after getting to the finals with it, so... Alright, so I can either Looting, or I can Conflagrate. Does the Conflagrate let my Bloodghast have haste? It does not. So I'm pretty sure that means I'm Looting. Obviously we could get hit with a Terminus, but... me. I have fetch lands. I can shuffle everything back in, right? It's not the end of the world. I want to start discarding amalgams. Yeah, I've already got a decent board going. I'm gonna have the Stinkweed Imp in the yard, but I'm also gonna put the Life from the Loam in the yard. So like I'm gonna be filling the yard up with other dredges anyway when I start loaming back lands. It's probably fine to discard this. We also have like 3 Stinkweed Imps left in the deck, so at this point we're pretty likely to dredge into one. keep dredging. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That seems good. In our creeping chill deck. Alright, please don't have Terminus. Cool. Cool. I guess they probably set that up, so it's not terribly surprising. It's also not the end of the world. We have fetch lands in our deck. Like, all these things are just going to return very imminently. So we go fetch land, Stomping Ground, fetch land. Guaranteeing that the opponent has it. Yep. That's how we work around here. You know? Alright. We still have 6 points of chills in our deck. We have 9 points of chills in our deck, so they're on 6. Maybe we were just meant to resolve Conflagrate that turn. Just put them to 9 so that the chills kill them. That's possible. Yeah, we can also hardcast chill. Yeah, I think we were meant to resolve a Conflagrate whilst they were tapped out. That was pretty bad. Alright, so I can go looting and then Loam. Just to like get my threats back here. Nice. Oh, we can just cast Amalgam. Yeah, we can do that pretty soon. We don't have a blue source yet. We need to mill, like, a Gemstone Mine or something. Right, return these. Yeah, we can cast Amalgam, but we only have 2 lands in the deck that do that, so we have to get to the point where we can loam one back in order to do that. So I'm going to shock myself with the Loam to get back the other Stomping Ground here. Just like make sure we always have access to a green source. It's pretty awkward if they counter our Loam, I suppose. But if they're countering the Loam, that means they're not countering a Conflagrate later on. So we can go... I was meant to grab a Copperline Gorge last turn so I could ensure I have a green source at all points. This is really bad. I was meant to last turn make sure to grab a Copperline Gorge. Just as a bad green source. Because now they could have potentially cut me off green then. Alright. This looks pretty good for us. So we're going to attack all again. They have Settle, that's kind of brutal, but obviously I want to Dredge to try and hit chills. How much should I play around Settle the Wreckage? Yeah, we want to Dredge because of chill. Yeah, it's very, very different. So this will put them to 8, which is pretty good. I could try and put them to 6. And this, like, plays around Settle a tiny bit. Which I think we can afford to do because we're so far ahead. Sure. This is fine. We still have, like, 2 threats left on board. We're probably going to get to return more pretty soon. We also get to fire off a Conflagrate this turn, which is just absurd. So we can go Loam back 3 lands. Shock in this Stomping Ground. Oh no, we don't even have to shock in the Stomping Ground. I guess we can Loam again though. Just to like up the damage by a couple more. I was probably meant to get back City of Brass to save myself a damage. Anyway. I don't think it matters too much. Return these. Now they're just going to be super dead to our Creeping Chills. So how many cards am I discarding? Probably everything but the chill is pretty good. That means a single chill doesn't kill them. I could play around Purse, that's true. That is true. How do we beat Mill? Good question. Good question. Well presented. I think I'm going to do just 10. Kind of like that. I also kind of want to keep a land in my hand for Bloodghast. I'm going to do 9, because it doesn't change the maths of Creeping Chills very much, and keeping a land in hand to return Bloodghast is actually really nice, I think. Yeah, the second Conflagrate is also very threatening too. They just have too much stuff to deal with here. Between like us dredging Bloodghasts, us dredging Creeping Chills, us having a Conflagrate in the yard. We're like a bit scared of them slamming a Rest in Peace this turn, I guess, but... I guess this stops us having lethal of the Conflagrate, but I figured if we hit a looting, then we'd be able to get the Loam back. And this lets us look the most possible cards for chill. So they can counter this. And we get to resolve the chill for sure and have this Bloodghast back. So if they were to Cryptic this would force them to have specifically Path to survive. Right, so we return Stinkweed Imp and then a Loam. Since the Loam is what we really care about. Because the Loam's going to make us set up the Conflagrate nicely and return the Bloodghasts and such. Boop. Right, so I definitely want to play the land to return Bloodghasts. I think I just return like 2 Bloodghasts. Because that's already enough for them to deal with, and it means we keep 1 in the yard for if they like somehow, some way deal with all of this. And then I can fire off a Creeping Chill as my final spell. I guess I can do that post-combat. I kind of like the idea of a Memories Journey. Memories Journey, shuffle back in all my my Creeping Chills. It sounds like the most adorable thing ever. Jeez. Alright. It's like anti-surgical hate card that also just like domes your opponent. Yeah, sequencing paying off for sure. That was nice. So we want the claims 100%. Probably want the Thoughtseize. Maybe want the trophy. Axe isn't good. Grudge isn't good. Conflagrate. Probably don't want the third one. So we definitely want these, and we maybe want this. So we're looking at 5 cards. Darkblast we can cut, because it is the worst dredge card here. It's like Cleek and Snapcaster, but you can't use it to set up your dredging in this matchup, which I think makes me off it. Oh my gosh. That's so funny, Branch. That's amazing. That's actually kind of amazing. Right. When in doubt, you can trim a Shriekhorn. So that seems fine. Can probably trim a Creeping Chill. Honestly, the slow dredging off like Loams and stuff, it's probably fine in this matchup. We can probably just like trim more Shriekhorns. I do kind of want the trophy because I feel like Rip is just like almost the only way we can lose. So what's the final cut? I don't want to go too low on chills because it helps us avoid relying on the combat step too much against Settle the Wreckage and Cryptic Command. So I could just cut another Shriekhorn. I'm worried about going too low on enablers if I do that. But like, as I said, this matchup's slow enough that we can probably rely on hard casting Loam as an enabler when we need to. Cut a Reunion. No, Reunion's just too good. You just never cut Reunion. It helps you dig for your hate answers, as well as like enabling your combo. Like if they counter a Reunion to stop you dredging, you still got your enablers into the bin, right? You still got your dredgers into the bin. Yeah, cut the Narco here since the matchup's slower. I could see that. Kinda like that. Let's do this. This is fine. Well, this is really slow. God, but it has Nature's Claims, and they snap kept their 7. Thanks, Alessia. Good luck with the work. Hope it all goes smoothly. God, they snapped kept their 7. Which makes me think that we're gonna need a Rest in Peace answer, but obviously we can't do anything with this hand. We don't have a Looting, we don't have a Shriekhorn or a Reunion. We can't even like hard cast our threats meaningfully. Yeah, they have to have a Rip. They just kept without a moment's hesitation. Yeah, my draws are good. We have a lot of live draws. We have like good mana. We have 2 Nature's Claims. They can't like Field of Ruin us off green, which is really nice. I'm gonna keep this just because I think Nature's Claims are really gonna be really important. And like this hand has enough things going for it. I could see this just being a mulligan just because we can't get the engine going, but I find it kind of hard to mulligan this. So you're gonna fetch a Blood Crypt, except if they play a Rip. Thank you, Alex. Dreamy. They probably have a negate by now, but that's fine because we can flash this back next turn, so I'm not too worried about that. Obviously playing this before playing our land because we have the Bloodghast in hand. But this is fine. Oh, I can discard end of turn. That seems missing my land drop and... Oh yeah, if we missed the Looting, we could discard end of turn. That's true. Just get an imp in the yard. Right. Yeah, you actually want to hit your land drops in this deck. You do a lot of stuff with your mana. The deck is actually just like very mana hungry. I'm gonna play this because then if they... I guess if they play a Rip, we don't get to Looting anyway, but... We just like expose a green source for no good reason. Yeah, I don't know. This is fine. Next time we get to flashback looting and get stuff going. Should they have a rip, we have an answer. Another gorge is nice. Right, this exposes a green source, but we have a backup in hand, and this land never comes in untapped later in the game anyway. What did they have to snapkeep? I have no idea. I assume the matchup's bad enough for them that they have to mulligan if they don't have rip, but here we are. Yeah, Stone Rain. They could have a bunch of surgicals, maybe. Here we go. I guess they were waiting on the rip until it actually eats something from our yard. And just, like, crossing their fingers that we didn't have a reunion to, like, have an explosive turn. That kind of makes sense. Right, obviously we just have to claim this. Start rebuilding. Yeah, they just wanted to wait on the rip until they could eat cards from the yard so they could get some value off of it. Actually makes a lot of sense. It's probably a good play from them. It's kind of awkward. Using up the fetch land means we can't loan back the fetch. Yeah, I shouldn't have fetched, I agree. Oh, there's a Jace we have to contend with. So they're going to have the Jace on board for a couple turns now. Our draw is just like very slow now. We took too long to get going, and then when we did get going, they had the rip. Which is not like terribly surprising, but... This matchup used to be like actually unusable when this deck was fully powered and they didn't have Jason to Fairy, but I imagine it's a bit closer now. Jace is like very good at digging them towards like follow-up rest in pieces after the first one. Probably helps a lot. Another Stone Rain, yep. Yeah, Settle seems very good too, I would agree with that. Keeps Stone Raining us. It's really obnoxious. It's like the best thing about the blue-white deck. It just has so many Stone Rains, they're so good in the deck. I assume this means they have a counter for the Loam. Or they're just hoping we don't have another green source, which is probably more likely. Yeah, obviously going to try and return this Loam. Return these green sources with our Loam, make sure they don't get lost forever. If they counter this and hit this, then yeah, they cut us off green mana forever. If they can kill this. Outside of the one City of Brass we have in our deck, but we're really unlikely to ever draw that. Yep. Alright, we no longer have green mana, which is going to make this really tough. Our only green mana source is the City of Brass. They drew all 4 Field of Ruins. So even though we drew all our green source, almost all our green sources, they were able to like plow through them nicely. Which makes this a lot tougher. I think these are sideboard rips in Jactilio. We didn't see them game 1 anyway. And game 1 was like reasonably long. Yeah. I think we're just dead. We can't deal with this, right? We have to draw like City of Brass to kill this and then get our engine going. It just takes too long. Alright, game 3. Get to be on the play, makes a big difference. Can get in underneath rip. At least a tiny bit anyway. they're putting in stuff like timely reinforcements. Maybe that makes Creeping Chill less exciting, but no, they aren't always going to have that. Like, maybe on the play we're meant to like swap a chill for a Narcomoeba, so we can develop a fast board presence on turn 2. Or like be more likely to be able to do that. Maybe this matchup is less grindy than I remember now because they have Jace to go over the top of you once they get like a moment's breathing room. I don't think this hand's anywhere near keepable. We have like no live, like we have answers to their hate cards, but we have no live draws. We don't, like looting is bad in this hand and reunion's bad in this hand because we don't have dredges. So I think we just have to mulligan this. This needs a second land. If it draws a second land, it's like pretty good though. We only have 19 lands in the deck. I don't know what the odds on that are. Odds 60, 19. And let's say we have 2 looks and we need to hit 1. We're like 54% to hit. That's so rough. 54% to get to play Magic. Oh, that's true. That's true. It's 54 cards. You're right. So it's like 58%. That's not 90. It's not 19. It's 18 because we've drawn a land. Yeah, so it's like 56%. That's not how odds work. You don't increase the odds by milling with Horn. You leave the odds as the same. The chances you improve it are the same as the chances you make it worse. Like, it balances out completely. That is how milling works. I'm really unexcited about this hand. I'm honestly tempted to mulligan it. I'm gonna mulligan this. I just don't like it at all. Okay. This needs a looting or a reunion, but this kind of gets things started. I think we just need a looting or a reunion to make this hand work though, so I'm gonna bottom this. Obviously this does enable us, but it enables us on like turn 3 and then we dredge for the first time on turn 4. I think that's just too slow. Like, this version of Dredge is different to, like, the legacy ones, because, like, if you don't hit your second land drop, you so often just don't get to play Magic. Like, you actually need your mana to do stuff. I think being 54% to, like, hit our 56-ish% to hit our second land drop is just not good enough compared to our average 5, since we play off like 5-card hands reasonably well. I could play a 1/1, or I could return a land and get another Loam in the yard. I'm not really sure which is better, but I guess apparently I'm Loaming. I guess this means if they slam Rip, we no longer have access to a Loam, which is unfortunate. Maybe that's the argument for playing the 1/1. Alright, they went top, bottom. They did not have a Rip, which is very good news for us. And we hit a Faithless Looting. Jeez. Alright. It's probably getting countered. Mana leaked, negated, same thing. Alright, it's really unfortunate. We're just like not hitting frats off these dredges. At least it's not that unfortunate, but it's sad. We'll go with sad. But they're also not doing too much. They're mainly just like digging for a rip, but we don't know that they've found one yet. Apparently they haven't. Yeah, any claim we hit would have been a threat or something that dredges more or something like that game one for sure. That's the downside. That's the thing that Dredge loses post-board, right? The fact that it has to run into those sorts of problems. So I can Loam and then looting. I guess that's the plan. Because that puts a dredger in my yard before I fire off the looting. These grindy games are the fun games. I just live in like eternal fear of them just drawing Rest in Peace though, and then us having to like rebuild, and you know, it's probably fine there. Huh, they're getting the mountain out of the deck before we dredge. Doesn't that make our dredges slightly better? That's kind of surprising to me. We drew the Narcomoeba as the card after we stopped dredging. Tilt. Right, they're going to kill our other green source here, I guess. They're going to play a Lyra Dawnbringer. That's also a card I'm not used to playing against from blue-white since I last played this deck. That's going to be really hard to Conflagrate down if they get to hold up counter magic next turn. Okay. I don't really know how we win this anymore. The Lyra is quite decent. That's a beating. It's certainly not great for us. I'll give it that much. We had to block it a bunch, but we can't really race it. Or they can just leave it on defense and hold up counter magic for a Conflagrate. This is interesting. If I was to play a League with Dredge like a year ago, I wouldn't have expected the loss to be to blue-white, you know? The matchup definitely feels a lot tougher than it used to, though. Huh. We really need a Conflagrate. I don't think we can win anymore. Jeez, Baneslayer Angel's so good. Yeah, this is game 3. Even if we hit a Conflagrate, all they need is a counterspell to stop us. And Jace is like very good at helping them dig for that counterspell. They seem to be tapping a bit low now. Turn 7, so they haven't played their land drop yet. Alright, block the Baneslayer. Or not, as the case might be. Okay. Conflagrate, please. Hey. We did it. And only kill one of them is the part of the problem here, but it's still something. I don't want to cast this to block is the problem. Let's do this instead. Yeah, this comes to play as a blocker to keep us alive. Kill Jace. Alright, so probably dead here. They only have to remove... If they go like land path the Stinkweed, we die. But otherwise we get to block the Baneslayer. Hey there, Gra. Good to see ya. 100% blocking here. Gets our Dredger in the yard for us too. I guess Mana Confluence is better than City Brass. I honestly have paid that 0 for. I'm not sure how I'd even figure that out. Like, so City of Brass is worse against Rishid Import, which isn't in the format. Whoa. If I dredge this, I can cast a blocker. I guess. Try and hit a looting so I can do something else too. I guess I need to hold these lands in hand from now on because of Conflagrate. You can nature's claim our own Shriekhorn in response to a city trigger. Wow. Yeah. I gotta bounce this. Put me to 1. Alright, I have to keep blocking. Obviously. I mean, buys us some time, I guess. Not a lot. Oh, there's a Bloodghast in the yard that I can return. Let's hit Jace. Amalgam. So we now have a board again, which is something. Can chump the Baneslayer, so we're not dead on board currently. Yeah, the Imp brick walls the Colonnade, which is nice for sure. Obviously they're gaining 5 life a turn. Far from ideal, but... I think this time I need to hit Loam and just, like, hit the Conflagrate. Obviously. Oh, I don't have enough cards. I'm 1 short because I returned the Bloodghast. Also that. And they have the Colonnade open on blocks. So I guess I just have to send all of these at Jace. I suspect I am dead here. Yeah. Jeez, this matchup feels so much tougher than it used to. They didn't even resolve a Rest in Peace. And this game was, like, not even close. That was kind of deflating after how excited I was about this deck. like another modern deck that feels just fine. It's like a very reasonable, playable, unexciting modern deck, just like all the other ones we've been playing. Let's open something good. Altar of Shadows. Right. Interesting. That card's OP. First activation is pretty expensive. But Mighty Gargadon. I don't know. This deck feels fine. Still doesn't feel like nearly as good as it did back when Grave Troll was in the format. Nowhere close. The rest of the format's kind of grown up a bit. Combo with Hummingbird. Jeez. That's kind of terrifying. Like, all 3 matches we won, our opponents just drew 0 hate cards, right? I know 2 of the matches that was the case. I can't remember how the other one went. What the other one was. Tried Dredgevine yet? We have not. We have not tried Dredgevine quite yet. I might have to give that a try at some point. But how does Storm feel right now? I'm just like... I've only played 1 League of Storm in my life. So the problem is I feel like there was so much I'd have to learn to play Storm well. Like the 1 League we played of Storm, the deck just felt extremely challenging compared to like most of the other decks I'm playing. And like I would have to put in like a few days of practice to get ready. You get it with about 40 hours. I don't really want to have to put 40 hours in for Storm, you know. I do that for KCI. I feel like KCI would require a lot less than that. But that's fair in Jactilio. I did do the 1 League last night. I quite enjoyed it. Play KCI. I can't play KCI. It's Unified. The modern tournament I'm going to is Unified Modern, so my teammates are playing Hardened Scales and Bant Spirits, and I can't overlap with either of those. Otherwise, I play. If it was a solo modern tournament, I would currently be learning KCI, but I have no particular thoughts on Blue White Midrange. I've not played with or against it yet, but it has Path to Exile, which goes in Spirits. So yeah, we played some Valakut on stream yesterday. It actually felt kind of nice. So I might play some more Valakut at some point soon. You can play Tron, that has Ancient Stirrings, which goes in Hardened Scales. How was the Storm experiment? It was fun. We only won 1 of our 4 matches because I was just like really inexperienced with the deck where I was learning it. But I felt like I was learning a lot in those matches and making a lot of progress, which is nice. I feel like I need to Goldfish Storm off stream a bunch to get the hang of it a bit more, get like the sense of how much stuff you need to actually go off. I feel like that would do a lot of help. So I get to play the looting deck. That's like one of the options, is playing a looting deck. I think Arclight Hollow one's really bad. I played it on stream yesterday, it felt like the worst garbage. And then I watched Jason Chung play it on his stream this morning, and like he thought the same. Currywars 5-0s, interesting. Might go take a look at this a moment before we hop into another league. It's going to have Path in, so I'm not going to be able to play it for Unified, but I'm kind of curious. Straight Hollow 1, yeah, I think Straight Hollow 1 is a good deck. I could see myself playing that. I normally really like Tron. I think it's not terribly well positioned at the moment. Normally Tron is my main modern deck, but I'm not convinced it's that well positioned. Let's take a look at this. So I can't play this because it has Path to Exile. It's kind of sweet though. This is like old style blue-white from a few years ago. Didn't Yuya play something like this at Worlds like 3 years back with like a couple Ojotais and stuff? Yeah, this deck looks very fun. Agreed. Also the Hallowed Fountain, yeah, that's also a problem. Cavern's like very minor problem, but not really. You just have one deck, not play Cavern, and it's fine. I think it's sweet. I could see myself playing this on stream when I don't have a tournament to prepare for. I love the Cataclysmic Gearhooks in the board. Those are adorable against spirits. They get round Spell Queller and Selfless Spirit. Jeez. That's amazing. That's actually like legitimately kind of good. And then you just flicker it once they rebuild. Yeah, there should probably be a Baneslayer Lyra split. You're correct, Injectilio. How did the dredging go? We finished up 3-2. It felt fine and unexciting and like a very reasonable choice, but it felt like a deck I could happily register, but I'm not enthusiastic about it, so I'm going to keep looking for other things. What about Jund? Jund feels fine. We're going to be playing some black-green next, actually. We played Jund on stream, and it felt pretty decent, and it's also a deck I'm like super comfortable playing. So I'm planning on playing this next. You don't think Jund is in a good position? Yeah, I suspect it's not in a great position, but it felt very reasonable. It didn't feel like it was like awfully positioned either. Like the big mana decks just honestly don't matter nearly as much now you have Trophy, I think. Deck looks like it's short 2 to 3 Obliterators, isn't every deck? Right, I'm gonna go get some water.